That's it for this morning tonight. Tomorrow, Elizabeth Abbott explains the historical importance of celibacy. We have the second part in our look at the Sikh religion. Should employers be liable for crimes such as sexual abuse committed by their employees? And we'll find out what vicarious liability means and how it works. I'm Avril Benoit. Have a good night. Outfront is next here on CBC Radio One.
Hello, welcome to Outfront. My name is Trevor Hughes and I live in Vancouver, British Columbia. Tonight I'd hope you can join me as I try to get to know my grandfather better. I'm searching for the tugboat he built 35 years ago.
For a young person with a love of the water and the spirit of adventure created by visiting with and talking to all the different tugs and crew and the different places they towed from, created a lasting impression with me. I have always, since then, had a special feeling about towboats.
These words are from the memoirs of Jack Hughes, my granddad, on growing up on the Fraser River in the 20s and 30s. My granddad was a man of the sea. For nearly 40 years he skippered tugs. In the early 60s, he built his own. It was a steel-hulled tug called the Hutowco Queen. It was his pride and joy. Hughes Towing Company was then formed in North Vancouver. It was a family operation with Grandad as president and Granny as secretary. His sons, my dad and two uncles, worked as crew.
It was 1932 when I worked on my first tug, the Young Hustler. I jumped at the chance. This was the Depression, and I received $28.50 a month as a stipend. Although the hours were horrendous and the pay worse, it was a time I really enjoyed. I would have done it for nothing.
I remember seeing a framed picture of the Hutowco Queen proudly displayed on my grandparents' mantel. I always wondered what it would have been like to have gone on one of my granddad's adventures, to see unspoiled coastline as he brought supplies to remote logging camps. I recently discovered the Hutowco Queen is still around, and better yet, she's still working for a family business in Powell River. I never really knew my granddad. Through finding his old tug, I hope to change that.
She's a jackpot tug and her hull is wood. The runs are short and the coffee's good. She don't make the news like the Sudbury, but she's fine by the mate and the skipper and me, by the skipper and me.
I invite my Uncle Paul, Granddad's son, along for the ride. On the way in the car, I ask him about the early days of the Hutowco Queen.
The boat was built in Benson shipyards, and I remember spending a lot of time down there as the boat was being built. I was only a young teenager, and my sister Teresa, if I remember rightly, she actually christened the boat with champagne and the whole 9 yards. It was quite an event.
All catering crew, please muster in the Chief Steward's office. Thank you.
Soon, we're on a Sunshine Coast bound ferry.
I'm looking forward to seeing the Hutowco Queen again. I've often thought of it. It was the last of my dad's boats. I saw it built. I'm a little bit hesitant about what it's going to look like, because I've heard over the years you pick up that it's changed quite a bit, so I don't know what to expect really. But I'm looking forward to seeing the boat anyway, see if we can, pick up any old ghosts in there. And I remember a lot of good times on that tug.
So when the whistles from the bridge were heard, which was a sign a tow was coming upriver, and I had the opportunity, I was off and running to revisit some of the old tugs again.
We stay in a Powell River hotel that night. I speak with Bob Heatley on the phone. He's the captain of the Hutowco Queen. He tells me they'll be taking the tug out to Hutowco tomorrow. That means they'll be gathering logs up into log booms. They'll be leaving at about 6:30. So that's an early start for us. Uncle Paul and I drive to Stillwater, 10 minutes up the road. The sun hasn't come up yet. We pull into a gravel road lined with logging trucks. We can see some lights up ahead. There are two tugs tied up here together. There's the workmate, and I think we found her. My uncle is looking pensively at the tugs, as though trying to recognize an old friend. Does that look like the Queen to you?
It's hard to recognize, but I think that's the Queen there. They've changed the superstructure a lot, but I'm thinking that that's it. But it doesn't look anything like I remember at all.
No?
No.
Yeah, I'm remembering the picture on the mantle. It does look a lot different. But I recognize the front of it.
Yeah.
The hull is still the same, huh?
All the same.
We're just going to take a look at the main ship. The Hutowco Queen is on the outside. I'm just going to step on board here. We're both on board the Queen now. When was the last time you were on board?
That was a long time ago. Mid-60s sometime.
We're waiting for the captain and his crew to arrive. Now that we're standing in front of his tug, I ask Uncle Paul about Grandad.
Well, I'm just thinking, one image I have of Dad was one time we were in, I think it was off Stewart Island somewhere up north here. I remember he was on the command bridge. We're trying to get the BA logger, which was the oil barge that we towed, into dock, right? But there was a heck of a tide running against it. He only had a very small margin to get the nose of the BA logger in. You know, in the spot where he had to go was this huge yacht, American yacht. Like I don't know how much it was worth, but it was a big thing. So we were coming straight for this yacht. I always remember Dad standing there. He had the Hutowco just cranked, trying to pull that BA logger into that slot, and we just missed that guy, just by inches. And I remember the yacht owner was standing on the bow of the yacht, and he was just going crazy. He thought for sure Dad was going to hit him. That was a funny story.
Soon afterwards, Bob Heatley and one of his crew from Thunder Bay Tugs arrive. An inquisitive black dog comes up to me.
Hey, fella. Hey, who are you?
Who's this?
Skipper.
Hey, Skipper. Hi, Bob. Trevor Hughes.
Hi.
Good to meet you. We were just snooping around. How long have you been skippering the boat?
5 years now, right?
So Thunder Bay Tugs is a family operation then?
Yeah. Yeah, my dad owns it.
Oh, okay.
He said he'd be out on the boat.
Not many of those around anymore.
Not many.
No. Ours was a family-run operation, too, when we had it, And prior to that...
We're soon invited into the Queen's wheelhouse. We chat with Bob and Ron, the deckhand, while the engine warms up.
It's a nice boat. For the size of it, it's one of the nicer ones on the coast. And it's a good puller. It handles the rough water really nice.
Yeah.
When I first started running the boat coming out of Cam River, past Cape Munch, southeast, when the tide was flooding, it wasn't a very nice spot to be. It scared the hell out of me. The first time I towed logs out of there, I think I came past Cape Munch doing about 10 knots sideways.
Listening to my uncle and Bob trade stories reminds me of something my granddad wrote.
At times, 6 to 8 boats would be tied up together. As the crew stayed with tow till it was delivered, there were some great bull sessions between the men from different companies. There was far more camaraderie and knowing each other in those days than exists today, as it is a whole new ballgame.
I think Grandad would have liked to have seen Paul and Bob trading tall tales, one tug generation to the next.
Well, I appreciate you letting us come aboard and hang out for a little bit. Thanks, Bob. See ya. Hey. Dry lands that way. Dry lands this way. Thank you.
And so we let Bob, Ron, and Skipper the Black Dog get to their day's work.
Come on, Skipper, get aboard.
First light reveals silhouetted pine trees on shore and log booms as far as the eye can see. Seeing the Hutowco Queen sail away, I wonder how often Grandad would have done this. How often he would have got up at dawn and left dock on a cold winter's morning. Soon there was only the outline of the Queen in the morning light, its masthead light beaming aft, and the distant sound of its engines. We're back on the ferry heading home. My uncle and I are pensive now. Or maybe the early wake-up call is catching up with us. I think Grandad would be happy that the tug he saw launched 35 years ago is still cruising the BC coastline. It's owned by a family business like Hughes Towing Company used to be. He'd be happy to know the tug still has a solid reputation. It's doing what it was built to do. My Grandad created a piece of BC's heritage. I'm proud of what he did, and I feel I know him better. I also feel like I've inherited his love for the sea. My Grandad passed away in 1997. At his funeral, my Uncle Pete read a poem selected by my granny. It's Crossing the Bar by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Sunset and evening star, and one clear call for me. And may there be no moaning of the bar when I put out to sea. But such a tide as moving seems asleep, too full for sound and foam, when that which drew from out the boundless deep turns again home. Twilight and evening bell, and after that the dark. I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar. Thanks, Grandad. In Vancouver, I'm Trevor Hughes. Good night.
I'm a freelancer working on a story for an upcoming episode of Outfront. This program is always looking for new freelance producers and new story ideas. If you want to know more, here's how to get in touch. You can phone 416-205-6606. You can email. The address is outfront@toronto.cbc.ca. And the mailing address is Box 500, Station A, Toronto, M5W1E6. Good night.